So this video is for anyone that's looking to quit video games for good, forever, no more video games, and essentially stop the craving of playing video games. And yeah, so my history with video games, I have always been a bit of a nerd. Um, I've played, like for example, when I was in primary school, I'd play like a few hours of RuneScape before I went to school. Uh, you know, Call of Duty, every single Call of Duty from like COD 5, what is it called? COD 4 even, COD 4 being like max prestige. I even used to play COD 4 on the Wii, you know what I mean? Um, so yeah, max prestige on everything, absolute sweat, like 30 days game time on every single COD up until like, the last like 2017, 2016 probably. So yeah, little sweat. And then Minecraft, the amount of hours on that is insane. And I've just actually checked my Overwatch hours. Overwatch is a game on Battle.net that looks a lot like this. There's Overwatch 2 that's out right now. I had a look and I saw that my hours on Overwatch was 1,998 hours long, right? So I converted that to days. That's 20, no, sorry, not 20, 83.25 days. So I've spent 85 days of my life wasted on a video game. Now, how can I go from, you know, essentially all my life playing video games, sweating them, and just changing my ways and just not playing video games anymore? Like, how's that possible? Because people get stuck in a habit, especially when you've been doing it for that long, like over a decade. It's a habit and it's a hard one to break when you've been doing it for that long. So I'm going to go over a few tips of how to stop playing video games, how to stop an addiction, and yeah. So let's roll with it. So like, I'm going to use Overwatch because that's like my most recent game addiction. Right, I'm going to use that, but you can apply this to any sort of game or even any sort of addiction, really. So step one, you want to uninstall the game, right? Sounds pretty obvious. Then if it's in a launcher, like for example Overwatch is inside Battle.net, you want to uninstall the launcher, right? So you've now got no way of playing it unless you're basically forming obstacles. So if you uninstall both of them, first off, then you have to Google. If you ever want to play it again, then you have to Google Battle.net. You have to install it, then you have to install Overwatch, and it's probably like a big update, like 40 gig. I don't know how long that takes. So yeah, you prevent it by uninstalling and removing them, right? But then the issue, and here's the thing that where most people get wrong with addictions, okay? They, when you remove something that takes up a large part of your life, you now have a massive void. And that void needs to be filled. Otherwise, you just sat there like bored, twiddling your fingers, like, oh, what shall I do now? Oh, I'll play. Oh, maybe I could reinstall Overwatch and just play one game. You know what I mean? So you have to fill the void with something else. Now, the best thing to do is obviously fill this with a good habit, i.e., reading, going to the gym, starting a business, hanging out with friends, anything self-improvement, like anything that's going to benefit you in the long run. I mean, if you're going to pick a habit, it might as well be a good one, you know what I mean? So yeah, that's what you want to do. So you want to remove it, form blockages so that it's harder for you to access it again. Then once you've removed it and you've got a void, fill something in, good habit. All your time's taken up now. You haven't got time to play video games because you're now focused on this new thing that you're obsessed over, this good habit. So that's that. Now, I used to do this a lot, and I realised um, there would be certain things that would bring me back to the game, right? So, for example, I could have not been on Overwatch, for example, for 2 months, right? Like, start of this year, I did 75 hard, and one of my added extra things was not playing Overwatch. So for like 3.5 months, I didn't play Overwatch, right? And I realized one of the things was that was tempting me to come back, and that did tempt me, like in previous times, was like when I pretty much social media. So loading up Twitter, for example, and seeing, I'm following like accounts that either like stream Overwatch or like the Overwatch Twitter, or and they just like like tweet out, oh, season nine's here and this new hero's here, just stuff to entice you back in. And then you go on YouTube, and on your homepage it's like, oh, unranked to GM with this certain hero, this new hero, everyone should play him, he's like the best, and it's like the best way to rank up. And then you're like, oh, well, I wouldn't mind just keeping up with it. I'm not going to play it, but I'll just watch a little bit of the video. So you sit there and watch like, a little bit of the video, and you're like, then you get back into old habits. You're just like, oh, okay, this kind of looks fun. Maybe I won't. Maybe I will play it. You know what I mean. So this process essentially happens. So what you want to do is remove any sort. Again, you're putting in blockages. Remove any sort of access to the game. You basically, it's like having like a toxic girlfriend or whatever. You've been in a relationship for like 2 years. It's toxic. There's no point having her on socials. You know what I mean? Because then she's just gonna post up a new Instagram post, and it's gonna be her and like, oh, some other guys or something. And then you're like, oh, a bit jealous, and then you start thinking about her again. You need to block. You need to block. You need to remove any sort of YouTube like subscriptions from these people that are playing the game, or the thing that you're addicted to, any Twitter accounts, any Instagram reel accounts, you know what I mean. So basically you want to remove them, and this, like I said, this can be transferred into any sort of addiction. So it doesn't have to be just like video games, like flipping, I don't know, well, I haven't had experience in this, but I guess hard drugs. You know what I mean. Like if you're like a meth addict or something, you wanna create blockages. Then you wanna like uninstall it from your life, remove it, and then you wanna remove the people that associate with it from your life, and then you wanna fill the void that you've just filled, that you've just removed, and fill it with something good. And obviously, it's a lot easier said than done, but that is the process to removing any sort of addiction from your life. Yeah. So stop playing video games, do something good, build a business. Boom. See you in a bit.